July! Is this thing on? Word, okay. Yeah, I made a bracket really quick just on the one side of the intercooler to hang it. I went ahead and just bent up a steel L bracket to hold the intercooler in place. And then I actually welded it to this cross member so it'll be just nice and strong. Okay, there we go. Hey guys, what's up? It's Friday. The first clip you saw me and Yari working on mounting the intercooler, that was Monday. This week has really just flown by and I haven't gotten hardly anything done. So I'm gonna fire all the lights in this here shop and pull the RSX in and just see how far I can get. Intercooler is almost hung. I gotta do one more bracket, and I need to intercooler piping. We need to mount the turbo oil, basically the whole turbo stuff. So let's just get into it and just see how fast we can get this turbo thing done. Alright, so I got the one side of the intercooler piping done. Just runs right up here to the throttle body. Goes down, under, and as tight as I could to the frame around the intercooler. The other pipe's just going to pass underneath it and go back up to the turbo. But I can only really run so far of this right now until I need to know where the turbo is first before I can actually continue. So I got to get going on some of this other work and figure out, you know, the turbo mounting and all that. So alright, let's keep going. We're at the part where we pretty much have to take the oil pan off and start worrying about oil lines and stuff. I'm going to keep working on some of the upper turbo stuff while we start taking apart the oil parts and get those things fitted. We're still working on the boost piping, but we kind of took a break to move some of the factory stuff that's in the way here and get ready to stick the turbo onto the turbo manifold. We've got the turbo manifold mounted down there. It's kind of hard to see because we still have some lines and junk in the way, but it's just a little cast manifold sitting down there, and we're trying to make enough room to be able to slide the turbo in here, but there's really it's not a good path. So we're going to take the front cover off and go ahead and stick it in from, you know, with this piece missing basically. We drilled and tapped a hole in the front of the compressor, which is always a really good idea if you're doing a turbo install, because this will give you a really accurate place for boost reference to control your wastegate or to control the boost controller. Okay, so you guys can see the turbo back there. The way that the turbo outlet goes, it goes right down like next to the motor mount, and it's really hard to turn it and come this way with like a coupler. So I've actually hard welded some angle pieces to get the turbo compressor cover to come over the motor mount and turn. And I've got them finished up, and let me show you what they look like, I guess. So basically I just ended up welding some you know, like cut pieces onto the turbo cover to make that transition, because it was a very, very tight 90, and basically had to turn 90 already at the length of the compressor cover. So that's already done, ready to go. I got the O2 bung welded here for reference for the dyno, and I have one more pipe I have to do, which will go from this pipe that comes up from the intercooler back and turns into where the turbo is going to go, and the blow-off valve will be somewhere in this area as well. So one more pipe left, and the fabrication side of this turbo kit is pretty much complete.
We're bead rolling the intercooler. Nice blow-off valve in there that we fought with that we didn't tape any of. So in camera world, it took 2 seconds to put it on. That's all it took. What up, John?
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Got to knock that out.
All these clips are unusable. Alright, we're at a good stopping point on the RSX for the night, but you remember our friend Raven, how his engine blew up? We're actually going to run out to this guy's house, and he's got a parts 350Z. So the most interesting thing is that this 350Z happens to be a stick shift, so it'll have the motor that we need and like a stick shift trans, and Raven's car is automatic right now, but it doesn't really shift like super fast like you'd like. So I think in the older style trans, I probably still prefer, you know, like the regular manual trans. Like once you get into like the HR and up where the transmissions are a little better, I don't know if it's the HR, the VHR for sure, like the newer ones, they shift so fast that it's like, it's pleasant to drive, but it just doesn't shift as fast as we like. So who knows, maybe we'll do like a manual swap. We're kind of thinking about it. We're gonna look into it once we get the car back and see if that's something we can actually pull off.
Yeah, because I was going to do my bounty hunting with the...
Okay, right now we're taking back roads and I've got Raven's car in tow behind me. I don't know if you guys can see it, but sketchy. These things that we do for these cars, man. We just need this motor and trans, and hopefully we can get it home safe. We'll see you guys back at the shop in a minute.
Still my new hot rod.
I don't think anybody will steal it even if we left the keys in it. This thing's in kind of rough shape, but it'll be a great donor car to fix your other one. Man, this was crazy. Tugging it back in the dark. We only live the shop's only a few streets away from where we actually picked this thing up, so it wasn't actually too bad. My good old Chevy truck got us here. I'm always so impressed. America! America. Alright guys, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day and I wanted to give you guys a quick update on where I got on this project last night. I said I had gotten to like kind of a good stopping point. We've obviously been working on the piping and bringing that around into the engine bay, and we got his blow-off valve welded on yesterday and completed the, you know, the finished product here of the intercooler piping. So that is working out pretty good. Happy with it. So basically, we just have, you know, oil lines and not much else to do, really. Like, turboing is kind of easy. You bolt the manifold, you bolt and clock your turbo, you run your oil lines, downpipe bolted on, that was really easy. And then I spent the bulk of my time just mounting the intercooler and making sure the piping, you know, was ran really like nice into the bay. So we have a few vacuum lines to hook up and a few other things, but aside from that, it's, you know, it's really just not that hard. I feel like everybody could do this if they just could kind of see it done at least once. Anyway, I'm gonna try to like wrap this physical part of the build up today. And oh, also I wanted to update you guys. I kind of gave you like a quick clip of the 350Z that we bought last night for parts, and I wanted to show you like how actually rough it is. I think in the video last night you kind of saw the outside and it looked a little faded, no big deal, but wait till you see this thing. It's like in pretty freaking rough shape. So as you can see, it's in like pretty rough condition. I'm assuming the window broke on this side because it's all taped up. Got the door panel inside. Somebody tried to like, you know, disassemble the whole shifter because they were gonna use it in their car or something. I don't know. There's a lot of oh yeah, here's the shifter. Found it. Found it. Found it. Okay, we're good. Okay, yeah. Well, at least we have a shifter. That's great. I mean, basically, we're only really hoping to use the motor for sure, and the trans, if we can get an actual swap done, where we can move from automatic to manual. That'd be pretty nice in Raven's actual car. A lot of my friends were asking me, why don't we just like turbo this car and fix a few things on it versus like changing to manual and switching the motor in his car. But Raven's car like is actually in really good shape. The bodywork's good, like the interior is how he likes it. And despite my opinion on underglow, it's got lots of fun underglow that he likes, and so he doesn't want to change bodies.
So I'm sure there's some of you out there that have been in this dilemma where you just love your car, but now you start doing performance mods and you wish that maybe it wasn't an automatic so that you could, you know, make a little bit more power, have it shift a little bit more like you want. I'm really interested. I'm sure people have done this before. The physical bodies have to be basically the same. I'm just kind of hoping Nissan just left everything intact on the firewall to where we can actually just move things out of the way, possibly drill some holes where like the slave and clutch stuff would go, and switch things over. That'd be really cool. But either way, we'll film it and let you guys know if it's doable or if it's a complete pain in the butt and it's better just to buy a stick shift one. I looked around and tried to find a video on this and I just didn't see anything. So like, we don't even know what we're in for. I guess we'll have to suffer through it and then just show you guys how it was.
Alright guys, so we've been working on the RSX a little bit more and we got the oil lines in, and I'm just welding up like a final little like support bracket for the intercooler here, just to kind of hold it up. And yeah, oil line is at the top portion of the oil pan, which should be adequate, and kind of like routes all the way up there to the turbo. You guys can see the bottom of that turbo outlet for the cold side where it goes to his boost pipe. And there's that eBay downpipe. It fits okay. I mean, it kind of puts it into this cross member a little bit, but I think if I make the next piece nice, I can make it fit up pretty good. So not doing too bad. On this oil filter over here, you guys can see we ran an oil filter adapter. We plugged off 2 holes and ran 1 up for oil pressure. This is just a like way we can still oil pressure without having to tap off of the oil pressure sensor. I find it to be a little bit more reliable and less likely to crack the block or have any other issues. So we just do it that way. And I'll show you the top in just a second. Alright, what did you think of the way it sounds first startup?
It sounded great.
It's like...
Can't wait to finish. So we need an alternator. Oh, I'll let you finish that.
No, you're good. Alternator. Yeah.
So we just need to go get an alternator now so we keep it running.
Yeah, the alternator on the new car basically isn't charging, so... Dang, that was really, really exciting to hear it run for the first time. I have like a lot of tuning to do. I don't have any like good base maps to start this up on because it's that European ECU, but... goodness. It's just such a satisfying thing when stuff gets turbocharged around here.
It's so great, that blow off.
Yeah, I don't think we have any like major leaks. No oil, no fuel, nothing.
Nothing's leaking.
Whoo-hoo-hoo. We're basically running off this here battery box because the alternator's not even charging at all. So I'll have to obviously fix that. The computer really doesn't like it much at all. Okay. Well, we're at like a good point for now. Were you able to look at fuel pressure? I didn't get a chance.
No, I didn't look at fuel pressure. I was checking for oil.
Okay.
The only thing I saw was excess smoke coming up, burning off the pre-oil that was on the turbo.
Sounds good. Okay, so basically our plan of attack, we'll get a new alternator and then we'll regroup. I'll start writing the actual tune file for this, and then we can go right into testing the 2 different ones. Ooh, this is pretty freaking exciting. That was a lot of work. I'm old, my back's tired, and bending over this car all day getting it turboed is kind of a lot, but oh, it's so satisfying when it's done. So satisfying. Probably make it work with a lens, but I don't think it'll fit with the actual whole light because the intercooler piping is just really close. And it's tucked to the body really like as close as I could. So the only...
No, nobody that does this setup has this.
Yeah, unless they take the impact bar out and they go up in this area here, then you could leave the light. You could straddle, go like 1 pipe under and 1 pipe over, but for most people they just have to remove the light, which is kind of a bummer because I do love fog lights.
Yes, me too.
But I mean, if we get the HIDs working on the regular headlights, it'd be still pretty good. Guys, well, we kind of finished up getting Yari's car running, and tonight we were just sorting out a bunch of like final details. We fixed his broken alternator. And gosh, we sorted out a bunch of other issues.
A lot of little tedious stuff.
Yeah, like zip tying things out of the way and getting some clearance and making the bumper fit. We had like a lower boost pipe that was just a little bit touching the bumper, so we trimmed it out. But it fits pretty nice now. Looks pretty good with the bumper back on. The hood's still open, but anyway, we've got a little bit more to do. But other than just a piece of downpipe,
The one we bought off eBay doesn't really fit super well, so I'm going to cut it and modify it a little bit. But that's almost it. I think we're put the wideband in, and I've got a lot of tuning to rewrite, but other than that, we're pretty ready to go on the dyno. So, this might be the last clip of the video. If it is, I will see you guys very soon for this turbo dyno tune on Yari's car.